Hey guys, this is Reggie with Stock Talk. I do technical analysis and I trade based off of trend patterns and technical analysis. So again, this is technical analysis is one part of due diligence. So you should obviously do your own research and filter all the information that you receive from me and anyone else to fit your trading style. So with that said, don't forget to like and subscribe so you get notifications when I spot these patterns and trends. So Tesla will have earnings, right? We got earnings coming up, and you want to know how to play it, or at least an opinion on how to play it on the 27th, right? So on the 27th, what's going to happen? These are my predictions based off my crystal ball of technical analysis, right? Because nobody has the right to tell us stock which way to go. All we can do is hypothesize on what we think it's going to do, right? So let's look at last earnings, right? Last earnings, it traded in a trend. And it really didn't not that much happen. It kind of after kind of gapped up, right? Like so from the 20th September, so a few months before it gapped up, and then started coming down, and then had a small jump and continued on its downward path a few days after. And see pre-split. It's not really fair to use that statistics because there's a lot of news catalysts in there with the split and everything else. So yeah, so here we go. So we have what's it going to do today? So this is what it looks like it's doing. Right now, it's showing downtrend, right? It's showing resistance downwards. It shows a lot of selling. A lot of people are getting out of Tesla right now on the daily chart and short term. They're getting out of Tesla. Buying hasn't started yet. There's a death cross in which the MacD is still showing downtrend, right? So this is what's happening. It's bought up, right? So it was on an uptrend ever since November, up. Now it's trading sideways because people are not sure. There are people buying, there are people selling, right? People are not sure what's going on going into earnings. So last time Tesla actually missed on earnings, and it had a estimate of a 0.57, and it missed it by 0.29, right? By 50%, more than 50%. And now it has an estimate of 1.04, right? Which is way higher. And I mean, they've sold more cars, and I don't know. So I don't know if they're gonna hit that. So if they miss, I can see the news reports coming in. It's already primed for being overextended, overbought, not worth the value. Okay, just to address that, Tesla is an S&P 500. So there's a lot of smart people that say it's a solid stock, right? So uh, Tesla is legit. It's for real. It's just early, right? We know we know in a few years, let's say 10 years from now, we're going to have all electric vehicles on the road. We know this is going to happen. Either electric, we know it won't be gas. Let's say that, right? Electric, hydrogen. So who's to say Tesla won't get into the hydrogen game, right? And Tesla is not just a car company; it's a technology company. So they got their toes and dipped in a lot of different pools. Um, so Tesla is a good long stock, but short term, talking about this earnings report, this is what I think may happen. So two things are gonna happen: it's gonna either go up or down, right? So right now it's trading in a downtrend. So for the next two trading sessions, I believe it's going to probably trend down, maybe come down to 805 at some point. And then on earnings, if it's at 805, if it hits 805 the day before earnings, uh, that's going to be cheap, and I think it's going to explode through the roof. Through earnings if they hit. If they miss, I still think if it's at 805, I think it's going to retrace. So okay, so this is one scenario. If it's at 805 the day before earnings, it's going to jump if the earnings are good or if they are bad. If they are bad, if they miss and it's high, so let's say it gaps up and let's say it gets up to here to 881, because it's been at 880 is the resistance. So if the day before earnings, if it's at 881, and it missed on earnings, it's going to tank down to about I think 800 is going to be our. I don't think it's going to get past 800, but our resistance will be, our support will be 775. So 775 is our support. Our resistance is 883, and pass or fail, this is the range it should stay in. And but no matter what, at some point, if we need those scenarios that it falls, it hits 775, buy. buy. So because if it gaps up and hits 880, if it passes 880, I believe 880 will be the new support. Okay, so no matter what happens on earnings, so this is almost probably a better play after earnings, right? Because if it hit 880, that's gonna be support. I'm a buyer at least 2 or 3 days after it hit 880. If it tanks and goes to 775, I'm really a buyer at 775. Really a buyer. And again, if you have a small account, you can still trade Tesla. I've got a video on how to do that with debit spreads, right? So I trade Tesla heavy using debit spreads, not because I have a small account, but because it makes sense. I mean, small account, big account, but especially if it's small account, it's a way of getting in on Tesla. If you have if you have account with over 100,000 in it, then selling puts on Tesla is the way to go. But if you don't have that, if you have less than that, then debit spreads. Naked options, I wouldn't recommend. Just like buying a single call, I don't recommend because of theta burn and you're taking a huge risk. I mean, people are making a lot of money doing it, but you're taking it's a big risk, right? It's unnecessary. Just buy a debit spread. So anyway, this is my take on Tesla. Also in the sector, now let's talk about the sector of EVs. In this sector, I'm noticing a lot of bets to the downside, a lot of shorting on Blink Energy. NIL starting to make a little bit of a run, right? But Blink Energy, Workhorse is being shorted right now. NIO, right? NIL is actually showing some strength to the upside, but it showed a little bit of a downtrend, right? NIL is about to make a run too. But so why do I say that? Even the energy, like LAC, lithium is down, which is weird because I thought after Biden got elected, got a little butt in the seat in the Oval Office, I thought lithium would make a run up. It will at some point, but it's running down, and that tells me maybe another theory. If Tesla tanks, it's going to drag all EVs with it, and I think a lot of people are making a bet towards that. If Tesla tanks, it's going to drag the whole sector down. And if that happens, buy. Buy and go long. So when they say buy, you should buy on red days, sell on green days. So let's keep an eye on it, and that's something to just look out for. Again, the smart trader allows it to play out first instead of guessing. If you guess, take a small position. If you find especially on Blink Energy or something like that, Plug Power, if you can find a out of the money option for like $10-15, buy a few shares of it, and just see what happens, right? Take a small bet on it, but let it play out and let's see what's going on. Let's as we build towards it, we'll see what happens. But definitely, so as a recap, if Tesla the day before earnings is high on the Bollinger Band, I expect it to tank. If it's low on the Bollinger Band before earnings, possibly it still may tank. But look for the upside. But I'm more confident that it'll tank if it's trading high before earnings. All right. Any questions, comments, leave below. This is Reggie with Stock Talk. I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit notification bell so you can take advantage of my hard work on these chart patterns. All right. See you.